today's Toy Spot, continuing along with my reviews of the DC Universe Gotham City 5, we're going to be having a look at Two-Face. This was one of the figures I was quite looking forward to. Granted, it is a repaint. It is a repaint of the DC Superheroes, I believe Series 5 or Series 6, even though they don't really list these series numbers with them. But it is a repaint of the initial Two-Face. Without any more delay, I'll move this guy over. I'll bring in that Two-Face just to give you guys a comparison between the two. I mean, certainly a lot of different differences between the coloring. This Two-Face certainly both share the pinstripe suit. Of course, this one is more the straight up black white. And then this one I consider more of a classic, like the classic comic Two-Face. Because back in the day, the Two-Face, and actually even in Brave and the Bold, Two-Face made an appearance on the cartoon. And they actually put him in more of like the classic colors of more the orange and like the purple, and then he had the green face. This would be, I'd probably say this is a little more of like the animated series Two-Face in coloring, with the very, I guess polar opposites, the very black, the very white, and then even the shirt and tie, or the alternating black and white. It's surprising that the repaint Two-Face didn't actually have the different colored shirt and tie combination. If memory serves me, I don't think the original Two-Face had that either in the comics. I think he just had a regular shirt and tie. So again, this probably is more I guess an homage to the classic comic of Two-Face. But certainly both Two-Faces bring a lot to the table, and I'm not quite sure which I like more. I almost like this Two-Face just a little bit more, even though I do like the black and the white on this Two-Face. I don't know if I like necessarily the paint application on this Two-Face. I commented that during my video of him as well. The one thing I didn't like about this Two-Face, while I didn't mind the red so much. I may or may not have mentioned this. I don't like the fact that the teeth are pink. He's kind of got these red, kind of pink colored teeth. And because of that reason, and the fact that his eye isn't very white, so a lot of this coloring just bleeds into one another. It doesn't look very different from each part. Whereas at least this Two-Face, you can certainly make out the eye very clearly. You can certainly make out the teeth very clearly as well. And had maybe those carried over and the original Two-Face had that, I think I would have liked this figure a lot more than what I did. I'm really disappointed. I don't get me wrong, I really like the original Two-Face, but I don't know, it could have been so much nicer had they just done just kind of added some details to make the face stand out a little bit more. Again, what I mentioned with the Superman as well, the human side of Two-Face has very dingy kind of colors. The colors certainly don't pop very well on this figure. Whereas the reissue Two-Face, I think you guys can see that the flesh is a little more vibrant. The hair is a little more vibrant. A lot of the facial features stand out a lot more on this repaint than on the initial. But I think all the reason why you'd want to own both is just the fact that you could have the comparison between the two. If you ask me for how many times Two-Face has changed throughout the comics, I certainly don't mind at all if they want to keep releasing repaint after repaint of this guy. Because, I mean, there is so many variations. You know, the blue face we've seen, red face, green face, different costumes, different suit variations. But very, very nice. The one thing this Two-Face did have, as you can see, one thing that Two-Face did have with this figure is that he did come included with a Tommy gun. The repaint from this particular set actually doesn't come with an accessory. In fact, I think aside from the Catwoman, I don't think any of the figures in the set do come with accessories. So it would have been nice if they had given him a coin, or perhaps at least, if anything, the same Tommy gun. Now, if anything, I might just swap it out and put it into this guy's hand. But I figured I'd show you just the both versions of Clayface. Certainly, certainly one may like one over the other, but I'll move this guy aside. If you do want to see more of this guy, I mean, by all means, check out my review of him. I did all the superhero reviews before doing these. But there you have the Series 5 Two-Face. I'll move him out of the way. And we'll look a little closer at this Two-Face, which, I do like. I quite like the detailing on this figure. The hair is nice. I mean, the hair is the same as it is on the other Two-Face. It's the white. And there's almost too much hair, but I mean, I'm not gonna start griping about things here and there. I mean, it is still a great looking figure. And just give you guys a turn around here. And again, I think the reason why I like this character as much as I do, this figure as much as I do, is just because it reminds me of the old design of Two-Face in the comics. He was very known for having like the very bright colors and stuff like that. And while I liked him a lot from the animated series, I really liked the comparison of the really bright orange with the bright purple. Now, this particular figure, even though the head is retooled, it was retooled for the other Two-Face, the body itself carries over from the DC superheroes Clark Kent, to which they've actually used this figure, or the mold from. This body was also used for the DC Universe Wave 5 Riddler, which they also use this body from. It seems to be very consistent that they use this body with all, of course, the business suit characters. Maybe down the road what they'll do is they'll release this suit with a Lex Luthor head, which I think would work ideally, and for no other reason, if you're going to use this body mold for suited characters, you might as well make it for a Lex Luthor as well. But in the way of his articulation, he has articulation in the head. You can move it up and down, really not a lot though, but you can move it left to right with ease. He has articulated shoulders. You can bend and rotate you can rotate the bicep, you can bend at the elbow, you can rotate the hand. You can move the waist, but the jacket really deters a lot of that. But you can rotate the legs. You can bend the legs just a slight bit, but again, the suit kind of gets in the way. You can bend at the knee, and you can also bend at the foot. Overall, just pan this back here. Overall, I'd give this figure surprisingly like a 7. I'm very, very happy with this figure. A great example of how to take a great figure that already exists, such as the Series 5 Two-Face, and to give what I believe to be a very justified repaint. It's nice to have both in the set. I think maybe I'm leaning a little more towards this one just because of the way that the additional features pop on this particular figure, but nonetheless I would give him a good 7. So that concludes this spot on the DC Universe Gotham City 5, and that was the repaint of Two-Face. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for many more reviews of the DC Universe figures, and I'll see you guys then. Later.